Hey there, it's Dan Young with the Dan Young Group. Got another question that came in on what about solar in terms of resale of your home? Is it a good idea, not a good idea? Well, there's a lot to consider, obviously, when you're even making the decision for solar. So much of it has to do with what part of the country you're in, right? Like if you're in Arizona, there's a lot more sunshine, so it can be much more cost effective. Whereas if you're in Seattle or even here in Cincinnati, there's a lot more cloud cover. So you have to look at the cost per kilowatt. You have to look at the cost of energy. Like right now, we know the cost of energy is going to be coming down. So does it make sense? That's something to get with a good, reputable solar rep and kind of look at the numbers and see, does it make sense? Because there are also maintenance costs too. Like if you have a solar system, that's one thing. If you've got a battery backup, there are maintenance costs, things like that. Are you looking for an off-the-grid system? What kind of incentives are there right now? What sort of interest rates? There are a lot that goes into that, but that's not what I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about, okay, if is it a good idea if you're going to sell in 5 years or 10 years or whatever? Um, I can tell you right now, I've sold a couple of homes now with solar panels, and it was not a selling point whatsoever. Like there were actually more questions about negatively biased questions with the buyers for those properties, such as, okay, they were mounted on the roof. What if I need to replace my roof? One was a shingled roof, one was a metal roof. And, of course, those solar panels have to come down when you're putting a new roof on. So there are additional costs there. And so, buyers have concerns with that. What about insurance? There's going to be a higher rate of insurance for that. Hail, we get hail in Cincinnati. Hail will absolutely destroy a solar system. So what are the insurance costs with that? So these are all different factors that buyers are thinking of. And at the end of the day, they're just not interested in having this neat solar system. So if someone said to me, Dan, would you put solar on your house if you knew you were going to sell anytime soon? I would emphatically say no, I would not do it. So even in the house I have now, I'm looking at the Tesla solar wall simply because we plan on being there for a long, long time. But again, I'm going through those steps because one, I would rather not mount it on my roof for reasons already mentioned, but also a good hailstorm or whatnot, and it's dead. But nonetheless, if I were looking at selling, because I like to look at everything like an investment. And so if I've got my homeowner hat on, it's great. I can live off the grid. I have a generator right now, but it'd be great to not be dependent on any kind of fuel. But the reality is that if I were to sell this house in 5 or 10 years, or if I, croak and my family wants to sell it, the harsh reality is that those solar panels, they're going to be a negative when they go to sell. So that's my opinion. I've looked at the sales data, and there isn't any conclusive data one way or the other on that. So what I'm saying is completely anecdotal, just so you know that. But if you ask me my professional opinion, I would say no. No, I wouldn't get it if you're planning on selling. Look, if you're looking to buy a home with solar, you need to look at some things like what's the age of that system? Is it a junk system? Was it a decent system? But I wouldn't look at that system to adding value. So if a seller is saying, "Hey, I've got my house; it's got solar. I paid $100,000 for the system, so my home is worth $100,000 more." No, it's the same way with swimming pools, right? Like if you look at swimming pools, that's a whole nother video. But they have charts where values of swimming pools, like regions in the United States. Obviously, the farther south you go, the more value that a home with the swimming pool, or more value a swimming pool will add to a home. Whereas here in Ohio, it's pretty neutral. Like it neither adds nor subtracts value. As a matter of fact, I see more people that do not want pools than want pools. Even after that wasn't the case, during 2020, 21, 22, 23. I'm starting to see that slide again, though. Like for a while, pools were the rage. We want a pool because, COVID said, you're going to stay home and you need a staycation. But now we're going back to where it was pre-COVID, where in this region, they neither add or subtract value. So, but with solar, a little different. I actually think it subtracts value, even though you've probably gone butt deep in debt to put that system on there. So again, that's my opinion. If as soon as we get some actual statistical data on this stuff, I will absolutely send it your way. It's Dan Young with the Dan Young Group saying there's a right way and a wrong way to sell real estate. And doing it the wrong way can have catastrophic consequences to your checkbook. So make sure to check in with us before you do anything crazy. All right. Take care.